welcome to the 2025 start of spooky season. We are doing a couple Halloween specials this year of our usual debate series of how to survive certain horror or cryptid situations. And as usual, I am joined by
Dr. Claude, and I'm ready to slice and dice anything that comes my way, boys and girls.
Now, you guys know the rules have been different each year, but we've kind of established a new set of rules, which we'll be doing. A few other episodes in the future, we'll have other guests and we'll be doing different topics of survival. But here are your 3 rules. In each scenario, you are able to use one of 3 things. You could either use any item available that exists in any media. You can call upon any character who exists in any media, and you're able to give yourself a special ability. You can use up to all 3 per turn if you have to, or just one. You don't have to use all 3 each turn.
To keep things fair, you can only use each thing that you picked, depending on the category, only once. Because we realize if we don't do that, then someone will just say Superman for everything. Then that will make the video very dull and boring.
And generic. So we're going to keep it interesting, keep people on their toes. Now, there's something very special about this first episode, being that we're Trinidadian. We want to tribute to our culture, where we came from, Trinidad. We don't do a lot of that on these channels, do we?
No, we don't. So this will be quite different and unique. But I'm not going to hear the end of this from the Chancellor, because we've been going back and forth about the homeland, about certain things. Now, I'm going to have to deal with that after this. Well, thank you very much. Remind me to punch you in the face, man.
Yeah, he actually had no idea. I created the video package that we're going to go off of, and I do pick the I do everything technically. He just shows up, gets in front of the camera, does his thing. But I kind of figured, let's start with a tribute to where we're from. And Trinidad has some interesting cryptids. And we're going to start off with one who, both of us, when we were kids, we're scared of stories of these things. And that's the Dwens.
Yes. And why were we scared of these things as kids?
Well, let's start off by going to the video package, and then we'll get into that. Dwens are the souls of children who have died before they were baptized. They are doomed to roam the earth forever. They are seen playing in forests and near rivers. And the odd thing about them is that they have no faces and their feet are turned backwards. They may approach children and lead them astray in the forest until they are lost, or they may come near people's house at night crying and whimpering. Okay. Now, peeps, you know a little bit about the Dwens. You got anything to touch on it? Tell them why you're so scared in your youth.
Well, obviously, as a kid, seeing creatures that are also kids, but essentially demonic in nature, and live in the forest, dark. A kid would be terrified to go anywhere near the forest. It's only natural. But said thing only kept me scared until I turned probably 10.
The thing is it's like we went to Trinidad twice in our youth. Me 3 times, you 2 times, right?
Yeah.
And it was just kind of one of those things. Anytime it was late night and we were chilling to the adult shore, we had a grandmother who lived in a mountain. So when we'd leave there, we'd be walking back to the city in the night. And then this is when our uncles or the adults would choose to tell us these stories. The Dwens I heard of before I went to Trinidad from my uncle. And it's not mentioned in the video, but they have Raiden hats, which technically look cool to us, right?
Yeah, at the time they looked cool, but then when we found what they really were. And as he said, when we would be coming back from our grandma's house who lived in a mountain, because it's on a mountain, there's not a lot of infrastructure. So it's pitch dark because there's not a lot of lights like here in Canada where there's like lights left and right. No. You want to know what we did for a light source? Now that I think about it, was crazy, but also probably dangerous. One of our relatives was using a Molotov cocktail.
Yeah, he legit was walking with a Molotov. And holy shit, I forgot about that actually. Damn, you got a good memory.
And if something just occurred to me, had he had slipped, he would have set his ass on fire.
And the thing is, these roads, as you said, there's not a lot of infrastructure. There's nothing paved. You're literally walking down a mountain. And let me add, we walked through a graveyard on that walk from the grandmother on the mountains to our other grandmother's house. So it was a scary ass walk. Now the Dwens, some things are left out that were told for me in the stories to my uncle. Like I was told that they turn you into one of them if you go into the woods. They twist your feet and then they put the hat on your head. And when they put the hat on your head, your face disappears, so your family can't recognize you. These things are scary as fuck. Now, obviously, as adults, they would not affect us. So we're gonna have to answer these questions as if we were kids. What are you gonna do, brother?
Well, as a child, there's only one thing I would do. I would simply have you stand in front of me, and I would tell you to look there, as I would proceed to kick you in the balls and then run away.
That's your answer? So I'm the person that you're summoning?
Yes. Because it never clarified that it grabs multiple kids at once. So, if I sacrifice you, I could haul ass, because back then when I was young, I could actually run. And
Yeah, he was really skinny in his youth.
What are you trying to say? I'm
He
fat
was
now?
Oh, you were an athlete, didn't you?
Well, yes.
Only one of us has medals on their wall of child athletic endeavors, and that's him.
So, you see, that's how I would survive, because luckily, since these creatures, even though they were terrifying to us as kids, it's not like they have other abilities.
This is true. This will probably be the easiest episode if you know, because if you know some of these things that we are going to show you guys, they're more about taking care of nature, which I kind of appreciated and respect about Trinidadian folklore.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my answer. Sacrifice you.
Okay.
And the thing that works out also, since your ass was always bigger and fatter than me, it would take them a long time for them to twist your feet. Give me ample time to get away.
Okay, that's what you're gonna do.
Yes.
You're gonna screw me over. And like peeps, you gotta keep in mind, we could summon any character in the world, in the universe, and he chooses to screw me over. Okay, so for my answer for the Dwens, and it's not something I ever thought of. I just like in childhood, my uncle telling me about this, I was just terrified of these things. I was scared of these things. The two times I went to Trinidad, the first time I was 10 years old. The second time I was 14. So when I went at 14, I didn't fear them anymore because I was too big for them to do shit for me. But then I had my little brother who was 10 at the time. I had to be overprotective of him because I was scared of him. And I hear he's going to screw me over. This is messed up.
Survival of the fittest.
The kid version of me. And I'm going to use him now. If the kid version of me had the ability to call on anyone or call on anything, he would probably call on Superman to help him. Because I was a big Superman fan. But the simple fact of the matter is, since they're kids, Superman probably wouldn't do anything. So I would have to resort to calling Batman, who has no problem about kicking a kid's ass. He has no problem kicking a woman's ass. So I will get
Batman. Come to think of it, yeah, that's the thing, because one of his villains was this female who suffers from this birth defect known as dwarfism. Mm-hmm. So she looks like a kid.
Yeah. So I would get Batman to get me the F out of there and F everyone up, and I would live. I would live. So let's move on to the next one. This one's quite interesting, actually. This seemed like a really cool character to me. Let's go to the video. We're going to talk about Papa Bois. Papa Bois, also called Machi Bois, lives in the forest, and he is the father and protector of the animals that live there. He is often seen by hunters and other people who live near the forest. He gets animals out of snares and treats 6 animals at his dwelling. He is an old man who is very hairy, like an animal, and usually only dressed with a pair of ragged trousers with a bamboo horn hanging from his belt. He can turn himself into the form of a large stag or any other animal, as well to be able to observe the hunters unnoticed. He's usually very kind, but can be dangerous when crossed. He might even cast a spell on a bad hunter and turn them into a wild hog. Alright, peeps. So, brother, how would you deal with this one?
Well, considering his MO, he's essentially a beast man who's also like a beast tamer, who's mostly going after hunters.
Well, here's the thing for the scenario, and we gotta add a bit to this one because of his MO, as you just pointed out. We're hunting, and we're just like killing everything that we can, and then he shows up. So, we're on his bad side.
Yes, because it did specify in the video he's usually peaceful and friendly, but not towards hunters. So we need to give him a reason why he's going to come after us.
Exactly.
Now, this scenario, considering what he can do, I have the perfect solution that no one would have ever thought of. I'm going to call Poison Ivy to help me. You see, Poison Ivy can control both nature and animals. And since his whole MO was being in the force, he had no way to counter this because he's not used to dealing with another entity like himself. And to make matters worse for him, Poison Ivy has the ability to charm any male.
Dude, that is legit. Yo, that answer is actually fire. That is actually, yo.
And anyone who's a Batman fan and knows Poison Ivy knows that that's a brilliant choice for the situation. No one would ever think to do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I wouldn't even have to lift a finger. Because once he's out of the way, that means the whole force would be mine to deal with.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Holy crap. That is, oh my god.
Just keep in mind, the story never also implied that he works with anyone or there's others like him. It's just him.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is true. Holy crap. Yeah. And look, with Poison Ivy, because of her pheromones, he wouldn't do any of his spells.
Exactly, because she doesn't necessarily have to be close to someone to actually use her pheromones.
This is true. This is so damn true.
Not only that, she could control nature, like use the vines and trees against them. And that's going to be like, to him, is like, what the fuck? Why is just nature attacking me?
It's true.
So it's also a psychological attack on him.
I had an answer. My whole answer just changed after hearing his answer because it made so much sense. God damn. I don't even know what. Okay.
Well, you can't pick the same thing.
No, I can't pick the same thing, and I can't use anything else. So, I will do an item, and I'm gonna call on help. So first thing, I'm gonna get the the stone that Doctor Strange had. Which stone was it?
The time stone.
I'll get the time stone to prevent any spells being laid on me. So if he does a spell on me, I'll reverse time. And because he mentioned picking someone who could manipulate the environment, I'm gonna bring Swamp Thing because he's a towering beast, so you can physically take him on, and he'll be able to get help from the environment.
Oh, I never occurred to that, but Swamp Thing would be the same thing like Poison Ivy. Because Swamp Thing too has abilities of nature and whatnot. In fact, if you look in the comics, he once also fought against Superman. Now, I don't know how that turned out, but Superman, I believe, did struggle in that fight.
I've heard that.
Because Swamp Thing's whole MO, he's not fighting for us. He's fighting for the planet and nature. So he has no problem of us all kicking the bucket.
Yeah, that is true. Alright, peeps. So, we're going to go to the third one. Definitely, like, the most attractive one of this episode. Very interesting, and it has a lot of similarities to several other cryptids and creatures in mythologies. Mama Dlo. Mama Dlo is a powerful mythical figure in the folklore of Trinidad and Tobago and other Caribbean islands. Known as the Mother of Waters, the sea is depicted as a seductive siren, with the torso of a beautiful woman and the lower body of an anaconda or a fish, protecting rivers and punishing those who pollute or disrespect them. She is a fierce protector of nature and can be both nurturing and deadly, with legends suggesting that she can force people to eternal mirages or cause them to drown if angered.
Now, Mama Dlo, like you said, is similar to so many other cryptids out there. Like obviously mermaids, sirens, and whatnot. So.
Even the little, it wasn't said in my voiceover, but you know, she has Medusa hair in some of those pictures.
Yeah, so she's also polar gorgon. Now, with her, now, what I'm about to say may offend and possibly piss off people, but I feel it would be the best tactic to use. Now, considering she's in the water, particularly in the ocean, there's only one way to beat her. Unfortunately, I'll end up killing a lot of other things in the process, but it would work. And that is to dump a shit ton of oil into the ocean. Because you see, that will spread deep and far. That she will be forced to come up. And I can just simply throw a net and catch her.
Okay. That kind of works, but you gotta keep in mind, she could put you in a permanent mirage.
Yes, that's only if she sees you first. Just why I would put oil in the ocean before I even go near there, because you don't actually have to be there and actually put the stuff in the water.
This is true.
And besides, oil is not the sort of thing you can just rub off with water. You need specialized equipment and stuff. And it never depicted that she'd be able to handle this. So you see, I'm essentially using modern science and technology, essentially, to beat this one too.
Okay, you know what? I gotta give you points on that. This is like, this dude's just killing the environment to survive. And Dr. Clone would have the resources to do that.
Yes, it's true. But like I said, this is only for this story. I have no intention of actually polluting the oceans. So don't worry, boys and girls.
Now, my answer comes upon one or two things. If I have my powers, I would be able to seduce her myself, even though she's a seductress. But I'm going to answer this as if I don't have my abilities. And there is one person who I kind of feel will give me a huge advantage against her, and especially considering they have an army behind them. And considering she's someone of the sea, protector of the sea, I'm going to call the king of the sea, Aquaman.
Oh, you dork. I knew you were going to call him. It was either going to be him or Namor.
I'm not calling Namor. F that dork. Although the movie Namor was cool. Original design Namor, I've always considered lame. But I will definitely call Aquaman total badass of the sea. With Aquaman by my side and an army of Atlanteans, there is no way. There is literally no way that I am not surviving this.
Considering I think his wife has similar abilities like hers.
Yeah.
So yeah, I can see why that would work.
I would have a whole force on my side.
But then you have to wonder, how do you know this is not one of Aquaman's mistresses? And he's probably going to be like, the fuck, you want me to kill one of my women?
No, I'll make sure to call Mara to come as well. So his wife is involved in the meeting. So even if he wants to say no, he can, because his wife will be there.
Oh, that's a dick move. You have broken the bro code for that.
Yeah, my bro. There's someone I'm calling for help. Okay, and now we have got the final one, peeps. And this one, we're going to give you a bit more, because this is actually probably the most formidable one of the episode. In the folklore of Trinidad and Tobago, Lagahoo, or Lagahoo, is a mythical sifting monster. It is the cousin to the French and Germanic werewolf. It seems like a normal human by day, but this creature takes on the form of a man with no head who roams the night with a wooden coffin on its neck. On top of the coffin are 3 lighted candles, and the long, loose end of a heavy iron chain noosed around its waist trails behind him. Often it seems to change around its neck, which change size. One appendage is said to be turned backwards. It can shapeshift into various animals, including horses, pigs, goats, and is said to often take the form of a creature similar to a centaur. It's also thought to be a bloodsucker, which is less than particular about its food source, making do with such animals as cows and goats. It possesses the ability to turn tiny and gigantic. To kill the Lagahoo, one must beat the creature with a stick, which has been anointed with holy water and holy oil for 9 days. While beating the demon, it changes into other beasts, such as snarling dogs, horse, cat, and pig. A wild bull and thunderous waves of water finally will disappear into a black mist. Lagahoo. Guys, wow. How would you survive this badass?
Wow. Because of its description, I've never seen anything like this, at least in the Caribbean islands. And what I find interesting, the way how you're supposed to be is. Now, I wouldn't go that route. No. See, for something like this, I won't need to use anything to call it. I'll simply use my own abilities as Dr. Club. Because I don't know if you're aware, boys and girls, but technically, I track down and hunt cryptids to study them. And how do I normally do that without having to kill them? Freeze them and put them in crystallized form. And that's what I will do with this. Because this creature intrigues me. And I would want to study it.
Okay. Interesting. Now, for my answer, with that voiceover, we told you guys how to defeat him. Now, I'm going to answer this question as if I don't know that. I don't have that information. I don't know the proper way to kill him. And I see something like that. It looks like a giant, monstrous person with no head, and he has a coffin on his head. And he has this chain. Some depictions have the chains having hooks. I would use a Phantom Zone portal and get him the F off Earth and send him to the Phantom Zone.
Actually, yeah, that would work. Because there's nothing in the description that would imply he'd be able to break out.
Yeah.
Let alone knowing what you're doing.
Exactly. Alright, peeps. Well.
Because when I first heard this creature, the first thing that popped in my head was a doula hat. You know, like the Headless Horseman?
Yeah.
But because of all the other things this thing could do.
It's actually quite impressive that you actually knew the name of those Headless Horsemen, the doula hat. Like this. That's actually quite impressive.
Well, that's only because there's a lot of characters like that in a lot of animations. So I keep hearing the word enough times that I do remember. But chances are later tonight, I might forget.
Alright, peeps. Well, that was episode 1 of these multiple. We're doing at least one a week. I'm trying to shoot for 2 a week. We're going to see how many girls we can get to join us on the panel. Because you're getting 2 dudes' opinions. You need a female's opinion. What are the women going to do? How are they going to survive these scenarios? Well, we're going to give you that in the next episode. Thank you guys so much for joining us. We have been doing this for years, right?
I believe so, yes.
It's been at least 7 years we've been doing these. We started off with just how to survive horror scenarios. Then we did an episode where it was like which wrestlers would survive. Remember that?
Yes.
Then we did a superhero one. Then we started doing cryptids. You guys every year have shown so much love to this series. We love you guys, and we are going to always do this series every spooky season. Thank you guys so much. So stay tuned for the next one, coming next week. This is dropping today, on Saturday. I'm legit uploading this tonight. This is getting you guys, we filmed this on Saturday.
Don't quote him on that, because he says he's going to do it tonight, but I don't know if he's going to. Remember.
It's about 6 o'clock right now. This is going to be online before midnight. I give you the King Unk guarantee. But guys, thank you so much for joining us again for another Halloween. telling you how we survive these crazy ass scenarios. Be sure to follow me on everything Urban Franchise Entertainment. And stay good, peeps. And keep it blitz.
And now, boys and girls, we'll end it the same way that we always end it here. But before that, don't forget to like, subscribe, and follow me, Dr. Clone at StewCorp on YouTube. I'm also on Instagram as well now. Same name. So, with that said, never forget, you too could be a member of StewCorp. Because everyone wants to be a member, don't they? I'll see you soon.